Right, and joining us this morning is House Prosecutor and Manila 3rd District Representative Joel Chua, who says he feared for his safety after being mentioned in Duterte's November 2024 online news conference. Good morning, Congressman Joel, and welcome back to the program.
Hi, good morning ladies. Magandang umaga rin sa lahat ng inyong mga taga-subaybay.
Okay, Congressman, first of all, so that video where Vice President Sara Duterte said expletives, it even mentioned your name, was replayed yesterday during the trial hearing. Siguro, Congressman, walk us back through what went through your mind. And ano po ba yung na-establish ng video na yon?
Well, ang na-establish yun, yung pagiging violent in nature ng ating Vice President. So, nakita na natin na hindi siya isang beses nagbanta, maraming pagkakataon siya ay nagbabanta at patuloy na nagbabanta. Nagkataon lamang na isa tayo sa napagpuntungan ng kanyang galit nung panahon na yun.
Well, Congressman, I would also like to ask you because you and the rest of the prosecution panel and other legal luminaries would always say na this is an impeachment case, not a criminal case. Therefore, yung ma-prove kung meron man na contact na hitman, kung meron talagang hitman, is not necessary anymore. Now, for an ordinary person, na magtatanong po tungkol dito sa impeachment trial, ano po ba ang violate ng ni VP Sara dito, no? Nagbanta lang naman po siya eh. Ganyan po talaga magsalita ang mga Duterte. Yan po usually mga tanong po ng ordinaryong tao, Congressman.
Well, unang-una, ang impeachment ay test of fitness. At impeachment, ang isa sa mga grounds dito ay culpable violation of Constitution. Ngayon, tatanungin ng mga kababayan natin, ano naman ang kanyang binayolate? Maliwanag sa ating saligang batas, specifically Section 5, Article 7 ng 1987 Constitution. Dito lamang ang ito yung section ng Pangulo at ng Vice Presidente na sinasabi nila na ipapatupad nila ang ating batas. And definitely yung pagbabanta ay hindi pagpapatupad ng ating batas. Culpable violation na ng ating batas. Pangalawa, yung betrayal of public trust. Yung betrayal of public trust, ito bang asal na to ng ating Vice Presidente? Ito ba yung asal na ine-expect natin sa pangalawang Pangulo? Sa pangalawang pinakamataas na posisyon sa ating gobyerno? Kung saan ito ang nagre-represent, isa sa mga nagre-represent ng ating bansa. Ganito bang klase ng asal ang dapat na inaasal ng mga opisyal ng gobyerno? So yan ay mga argumento na aming pinipresenta at ito yung mga sinasabi namin na na-violate nila dito sa kanyang mga utterances.
Kong, in a few years ago, at least 4 people were arrested after posting on social media what authorities considered threats, alleged death threats against then President Duterte. How would you differentiate those cases then to the VP now?
That is what we're trying to say. Pagka-ordinaryong tao pa, pwedeng damputin na lang agad-agad. Dahil nakita naman natin na yung mga nagbanta dati sa nakaraang administrasyon kay Presidente Duterte, wala naman talagang kapasidad. May isang nga doon nagsabi na magbibigay siya ng pabuya na worth 50 million. Pero nakita naman natin na wala naman siyang kapasidad. And yet, kung siya ay inaresto at kung paano siya tinrato nung panahon na yun, gano'n na lamang. How much more pa? Natin, alam naman natin pangalaw sa pikitan at may kapasidad. At kung makikita natin, ano ba yung history ng kanilang pamilya? Yung kanyang ama ay nandoon ngayon sa dahig na humaharap sa kaso na EJK. So makikita natin lahat na meron talaga silang kapasidad na tutuhanin itong banta.
Congressman, going back to November 2024, when the Vice President had that online press conference at kung saan nabanggit niya po, nga po kayo, why did you decide to increase your security? Did you really increase your security? Did you fear for your life? And did you actually think that the remarks of the Vice President pose a credible threat?
Of course, that is a credible threat and that is an absolute threat. And in fact, hindi lang ako ang nabahala sa aking seguridad, pati ang aking mga kaibigan at ang aking pamilya. In fact, sila talaga ang nag-insist na mag-increase ako ng aking security dahil nga dito. Dahil hindi naman may pagkakaila lahat sa atin kung ano ang kapasidad ng mga Duterte. And in fact, sikat at kilala ang Duterte Death Squad. So, hindi mo po pwedeng baliwalain ang ganitong klaseng mga pagbabanta.
Okay, so today po, inaasahan po natin na will take the stand si OVP Chief of Staff Zulaika Lopez. Ano po ang significance ng kanyang pagiging hostile witness po ng prosecution? And what do you expect doon po sa what information that you hope that you could get from her without divulging the merits of the case, Kong?
That is a matter of legal strategy that I cannot discuss as of now. Siguro antayin na lang natin mamaya kung ano po mangyayari.
All right. And of course, yesterday, another point of contention would be the typographical errors. How big of a deal is this? How much does this matter?
That is correct. For me, maliwanag ang video ay may pagbabanta. Ang findings nasa record. So ngayon, ano ang sagot dito ng depensa?
Pero Congressman, yun nga po yun yung naging focus ng defense kahapon. Yung typographical errors, yung ma'am, naging mama, yung discrepancies rin po sa dates nung affidavits. Tanong ko lang, Congressman, weren't these spotted before the trial on the part po ng prosecution?
Well, I'm not aware of that because I'm not the one handling this case. But in any event, assuming for the sake of argument that there was or there is indeed error or typographical error, so would it change kung ano man ang sinabi o yung laman ng video? Magbabago po ba yung sinabi ng ating Vice Presidente? Remember, ang pinagbantaan ng ating Vice Presidente ay Presidente, head of the state.
So para sa inyo, Congressman, mababaw yung ganong argument focusing on discrepancies kung what we're talking about here is a betrayal of public trust and grave threats. Kasi nabanggit din po yan kahapon ni Attorney Ligutan that these infirmities have no bearing dito sa impeachment case ni VP Sara.
Hindi lang sa wala itong katuturan. Sa totoo lang, wala namang denial on their part na itong threat hindi ginawa ng ating Vice Presidente. And in fact, nagbibigay pa sila ng legal justification kung bakit ito nasabi ng ating Vice Presidente. Kung hindi ako magkakamali, ito'y sinabi ng abogado mismo ng ating Vice Presidente nung nakaraang impeachment trial. So, maliwanag Sinabi, maliwanag itong threat, maliwanag sa video, pero hindi nila dinideny.
But I remember yesterday po, Congressman, si Senator Mig Zubiri pointed that out dun sa defense attorney nila and asked nga po na wala naman daw pong denial on their part na sinabi ito ng bise. Pero sinabi po ng defense, if I remember it correctly, maglalabas daw po sila ng evidence on this. We don't know when, but they said that there is an evidence na she denied this. Your thoughts on that po and reaction?
To what they said during the last hearing. Remember, sinabi nung depensa na nung nakaraang hearing, bago magsarado ito, sinabi nila na may legal justification bakit ito nasabi ng ating Vice President. That is on record. So, are they saying na nag-iiba na naman sila na sasabihin ngayon?
Well, Kong, yun na nga, last week nga sinabi, they said it was a conditional threat, na it was a reaction to alleged threats on the Vice President's life and her family also. And then this week naman po, yung pinag-uusapan is whether or not she contracted a hitman. How relevant is the actual, contracting of a hitman as related to proving that she uttered the threats?
Wala. Sa totoo lang, wala naman talagang conditional threat. I will give you an example. Pag hindi ka nagbayad ng iyong utang, papatayin kita. Ayun ba, kung pwede bang sabihin, gawing depensa na conditional threat? So pag gayon, binanggit at sinabi, pwede mong kasuhan ng grave threat kung sino man ang nagbanta sa iyong buhay. So walang conditional threat dito. That is palusot lamang nila.
Pero attorney, throughout the course of the trial, at least for this article, may balak po ba ang prosecution na magpakita ng kahit anong evidence that the Vice President contracted an assassin or a hitman? Kasi parang last week natanong po si Attorney Ligutan yan and he answered in the affirmative. Sabi niya, yes, may witness kami or may evidence po kami.
Siguro antayin na lang natin kung ano yung kanilang magiging tugon dyan. But for me, maliwanag. Hindi naman dito pinag-uusapan yung assassin. Ang pinag-uusapan dito ay yung threat. Yan bang threat na yan ay dapat sinasabi ng pangalawang Pangulo sa Pangulo? So yun po ang tanong dyan.
But how do you respond to the defense's claim na bias daw po yung naging investigation ng NBI, even noting that NBI is under the executive department?
Alam mo, being head of the state, automatic talaga, pagka pinagbantaan ng Pangulo, dapat automatic talaga na ito ay iniimbestigahan ng kahit na anong departamento ng ating gobyerno na may because any threat against the president is a national security concern. Nakita naman natin, kagaya kanina ng hinalimbawa ninyo, nung panahon ng nakaraang administrasyon, ordinaryong mamamayan lamang inaresto. How much pa ngayon ang nagbanta pangalawang Pangulo na by law ay successor, constitutional successor ng ating presidente.
Ang pinapoint out po kasi kung ng iba na sinasabi nila, o sige, mag-investigate ang NBI. Pero did they even coordinate with the security group of the Vice President regarding this? Parang yun yung sinasabi nila na being biased on the investigation.
What do you mean security group of the Vice President? Baka security group ng Presidente.
Yung parang sinasabi nila na, okay, so yung ang Vice President natin ay nagkaroon ng threat, etc. Pero bakit hindi sila nakipag-usap doon mismo sa security also ng Vice President? Yun din po yung pinupunto ng iba na kaya may mga, kumbaga sinasabi nila, bias din yung investigation.
I think yung threat against the Vice President ay sinabi ng Vice Presidente at kahapon pinakita naman na sila ay sumulat at iniimbitahan nila ang ating Vice Presidente para maimbestigahan to. But unfortunately, hindi naman umapir doon yung ating Vice Presidente. Yung threat sa Vice Presidente ay galing sa salisay ng ating Vice Presidente. Yung threat against the President ay maliwanag na nakita na nasaksihan ng buong bayan. So yun nakita natin lahat. Wala bang nakakawin ng dito?
Right. Kong, so far we've seen two witnesses take the stand. Last week, si John Mark Calilong, and then just yesterday, si Attorney Lotoc. How would you say that they've affected the case for the prosecution side?
Well, ay lalo lamang tumibay yung sa prosecution at na-meet na ng prosecution yung talagang kinakailangan na patunayan dahil hindi naman nila kinwestiyon yung authenticity ng video. Yun nga ine-expect namin na kanilang babasagin. Pero fortunately for us, ginamit din nila ito bilang ebidensya sa kanila. Kaya it will only prove na talagang authentic yung video.
Congressman, balikan ko lang po si Attorney Zulaika Lopez kasi marami po talagang nag-aabang ng kanyang magiging testimony today if she does take the stand after Attorney Jeremy Lotoc. I know you don't want to divulge your legal strategy just yet, Pero ano po ba yung magiging value ng testimony ni Attorney Zulaika dito sa impeachment proceedings?
Mamiya naman i-offer nila, pero kung akong tatanungin, yung statement ni Zulaika ay hindi na mahalaga dahil napatunayan na yung mga sinabi ng ating Vice Presidente ay talagang nasabi niya nung araw na yun.
Okay, so si former NBI Director Jaime Santiago has said in one of his interviews last week, if I'm not mistaken, that he is willing to testify before the impeachment court kung siya po ay iimbitahan. Is this something that the prosecution team is considering as well, na maimbita po siya? Kasi I understand wala po siya doon sa list ng witnesses po ninyo nung pre-trial. But we're also wondering if kung si Attorney Melvin Matibag ang magsasalita, iimbitahan next week. Ano po yung masasabi niya? Because hindi pa po siya yung NBI director at that time nung nangyari po yung investigation.
Well, that is already giving advance info. So hindi namin pwede i-repeat kung ano yung sasabihin ng aming testigo.
Pero are you considering or the prosecution team is considering po ba si former NBI director na maimbitahan din po para mag-testify?
I think naka-line up siya sa Monday. But actually, yesterday we wanted him to testify today or after the NBI regional director. But unfortunately, sabi nga nung impeachment court, dahil may 5-day notice ruling kami, so he will be invited come Monday.
Kong, and then the defense also clarified na yung bloodbath that the VP mentioned refers to her own blood and doesn't refer to any kind of violence. Does this change anything in the scope of the impeachment trial?
Well, wala namang bearing yung statement na yun.
Right. Well, Congressman, the prosecution, alam naman po natin, has allocated 11 days for this particular article of impeachment, yung sa grave threats. So far, 3 days na po ang natapos, which means you still have 8 more days for this article. Pero kung kayo po tatanungin, Congressman, sa tingin niyo po ba na-establish niyo na po yung inyong evidence for this article? Or is the prosecution still in the midst of building its case?
Tingin ko, insofar as the prosecution is concerned, na-establish na yung evidence at yung gusto namin patunayan. And in fact, hindi naman nila ito na-rebat. At talaga namang inaamin pa nila. So, wala na sa tingin kong dapat pang patunayan ito.
Yung pong susunod, ano po yung susunod na article of impeachment na i-discuss after this Article 4? And which article po kayo of the impeachment makakasama? Kayo po ba ay isa sa aabangan, maaari naming abangan na kumbaga mag-examine din ng mga witnesses?
Ang susunod na article, yung Article 1, which is confidential fund. So, ako ang
Lead prosecutor dyan.
puro abangan nyo. Price na lang.
Surprise.
Kung mas magiging contentious po ba itong article na to? Yung article po ninyo?
Medyo mas mabusisi ito dahil unlike yung kasalukuyang article, no? Ano yan res ipsa loquitur. Ibig sabihin that thing speaks for itself. Yung mismong binitawan na salita ng Vice Presidente, yun na yung mismong ebidensya namin. Unlike dito sa confidential fund, dito, papel-papel to, record document ang pag-uusapan dito. And of course, yung inaabangan din ng lahat, yung statement ni Ramil Matigaga at ng iba pa.
Alright, mukhang si Congressman Joel ay papunta na ng Senado for Day 5. Tama ba? Day 5 of the impeachment trial.
Week 2.
Week 2, oo. And with that, thank you so much for sharing your time with us. That was Congressman Joel Chua.